We're starting from the beginning again.
Good.
All right, what's going on, guys? My name is G-Dog Casey from Team All Inspiration, and with me today is Couchy from Team Unrivaled. How you doing today, Couchy?
I am excellent. I'm very, very good. Excited to cast.
Yeah, me
Excited to
too,
see the
man.
results of these finals. Finally.
Yeah, I've never gone like a full week without knowing the results. This week, I actually took myself out of team chat so that I wouldn't be spoiled by
Yeah.
anyone from the team, and I'm just really excited to find out what's happened. Everybody in chat already, well, not everybody, but the two people or the two teams already know, but I don't know, and that's not really fair. So I can't wait to cast and get going into this.
Finally find out. You can either celebrate or commiserate with your team eventually.
I know, and it's going to be like broadcasted to everybody watching too. You're either going to
Yeah.
see
You're
tears
gonna
of
see
joy
his
or
reaction live on stream. It's either gonna
I
be
know.
tears or elated joy.
Yeah. Anyway, today is the if you haven't already gathered the grand final between Team All Inspiration and Team Confederation. For those unaware, CTL is a bronze through diamond team league, which is similar to Pro League, just not quite exactly the same. It's nine of the best players from each team each week in three different leagues. The three best gold players, three best platinum players, and three best diamond players. Followed up with the absolute best diamond player being in an ace match, which is a best of three. So if you were here before when we were doing the third place, fourth place matchup, which, by the way, hats off to TB Ham and Stark for doing a great job casting that. They were really good. Really excited to watch that. And good job to Team Unrivaled, which is your team. So good job there taking the third place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be very similar to that, only this is the finals. So
Yeah. Was good for Unrivaled. They were pretty salty about not making the finals. They expect better of themselves. It's just frustrating, but they at least
mhm.
got third and beat CT6. So there's a pretty strong rivalry between the two now. I
Yeah, I
imagine
think.
no team really likes each other. Like we're cordial, and that's about it. I think.
Yeah, I think both those teams have been around for quite a while since
Yeah.
almost since the Chobo Team League started. Is that right?
Yeah, Unrivaled since season two, I think. I don't know. I've only been around since season six. So I think Unrivaled season two and CD6 since season four, maybe five, season five.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So either way,
both,
they've both been rocking it ever
yeah.
since they've been in it, though.
They've always been like up the top as well, like solid.
Mhm. Well, this season we're going to have a changing of the guard. We got two teams who have never played in the finals before. Team All Inspiration coming off a third place finish from last season, but Team Confederation, this is their first season in the Chobo Team League, and they're in the finals. So they had a pretty moderate, I would say, regular season, but they didn't
Mm.
make the playoffs, and then they've just been crushing their way through ever since. So it's going to be a good one. I'm really pumped for this.
Yeah, they've been gaining momentum as like they slowly
Hmm.
figure out how CDL works and how to best prepare for their matches and all that kind of stuff. And slowly they're becoming a pretty solid force. Similar to how you guys did. You guys kind of took like a season or two, like all inspiration. Like at the first season, they were kind of disorganized, didn't really know
Hmm.
how they were
Yeah.
going, and slowly they've built into a pretty solid force. They're pretty much one of the best teams going around, I think, in my opinion. So
Well, it's all about the amount of work you put into it. And this season, I
yeah.
think both Confed and All In have been just going all out in terms of work ethic and practice and
Mm.
everything like that. And speaking of this season being more try hard, we're going to be starting off set number one with a diamond matchup. It's going to be featuring Team All Inspiration's captain right off the bat. So get to talk a little bit about him. It's going to be a ZVT on Metalopolis as we wait for this game to load up here.
This would be a solid game. Pisos' ZVT, very good. I've watched a lot of his replays of
Hmm.
ZVT. And Android is probably is Confederation's best Terran. Like he's on par with their best player. He's probably their second best player. I think Siren in their ace match is their best player, but um, Android their best Terran by a long way. So good matchup for the start us off, I think.
Yeah, ZVT is always awesome. So let's go ahead and introduce first the player on the top side of Metalopolis, spawning in the pink for Team All Inspiration, it's going to be their team captain, P. Sosa.
And in the bottom right-hand side, from Confederation, the Red Terran, it is Android.
Finally getting this started, kicked off here, the finals. Team All In versus Team Confederation in a ZVT, which is my absolute favorite matchup to cast and to play. So things are going well so far here. Also, P. Sosa. Unfortunately, I don't know too much about Android, but I've seen his name around. I know, obviously, if he's playing in the finals, Team Confederation is going to have a lot of confidence in his play. So I'm looking forward to see what he brings to the table here.
Yeah, I don't know much about Android style. I do know like a bit about P. Sosa style. Does like to get a lot of lings. He's very aware of, like, he's got very good map vision, I found, and he's very aware of drops kind of thing. He always has like lings patrolling around his base to defend against drops. It's something I noticed in his play a lot. He'll always have like 8 or 10 lings on a patrol path defending his outlying bases, and I really like that in his play.
Yeah, he's definitely a complete player in that aspect of things. Already, though, something I'm noticing here out of Android is that he's actually opened with a gas first. So looking like he really wants to get that factory up nice and fast here. He might even be skipping the Reaper to go for that Hellion.
Yeah, I've seen a build go around quite recently. I reckon I saw it on TV Hamstream, like not a couple of days ago. He like gets really fast reactor Hellions and then just kind of dives into the main and kills like all the drones. And like it's really easy to stop, like as a Zerg player, if you've got Queens on the ramp ready to go. But if you don't, you're gonna lose so many drones. And then there's like a Banshee follow up, very cheeky kind of, and like really falls well into like this map pool because it's just cheeky play is kind of reigning supreme at the moment over macro play.
Definitely, and especially on this map here, where Zerg is most likely going to do the same type of thing since there's no ramp at the natural, and it's so wide open here. I mean, Zerglings are really good, so you know the response would be a lot of Hellions nice and early, which are also really good for the same reason, being nice and fast and can move around any sort of attempt at a wall. So that factory is started here. P. Sosa going for that. Well, there's no gas yet, so. Let's see here. It's not quite too late to drop down a gas, but it's starting to approach that point where things are looking like they're going to be a roach opening.
Yeah, it's looking like he wants to go up to those like 4 queens or whatever, gets a little bit of creep spread going, get 2 gas guys is like 5 minutes 30 kind of thing, and then looking to go to 1-1 roaches, which is a pretty good build for this map, but not going to do super well against these Hellions. I like this spine collar at the front though from P. Sosa. Already just saying I need to defend, I need to survive against anything.
One thing about P. Sosa here, there's not too much scouting, if actually 0 scouting of Android's bases here. So that Overlord's going to be coming in soon, and it's going to get a timing on that factory, and notice that it's already churning out 2 Hellions. The key here, I think, is when does Android think he has enough Hellions? Is he going to go out with 4 Hellions, or is he going to wait around until he has 6 or even 8? I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. But he's getting that wall up here nice and early, so looking like he obviously has a expansion in mind in the near future.
And P. Sosa is already prepared. I would think he's prepared for this build. He's got the queens on the ramp ready to go already to stop. And that's kind of how you stop this build. Like if the Hellions can't get into the main to get all those drones, this build's not really going to work. It's just going to put him behind in workers. His expansion nowhere near. It's just starting now.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense for P. Sosa because in terms of preparation for the week, P. Sosa is one of the much better players that I know of in terms of scouting their opponent all throughout the week. He's going to check every single website that replays may or may not have been uploaded to. He's making sure he knows, or at least he has a decent idea of what his opponent can do. So he probably scouted from one replay or another that Android likes to open with fast Hellions, and that's why he's already ready for this here.
Yeah,
Hellions are
the queens. Hellions killing some lings. I've got 2 drone kills so far, but I don't think he wanted that fewer drone kills. It's got up to 4 now, which is nice, 5, but I don't think that's quite enough to justify the super late expansion.
Yeah, because P. Sosa is still in the lead here in terms of workers, and we don't even have a second orbital yet. So at least it's better than nothing, but now P. Sosa is getting his roach warren up, and he's pretty much fully saturated on 2 bases already, and he's going to be ready to start churning out those roaches.
Yeah, he can pop down a 3rd really, but doesn't really need to saturate it just to kind of get that extra production, that 3rd hatchery of production. Lair started now though, so looking to probably get +1, get roach speed, excuse me. and move to shove on this natural of Android, which is super exposed. It's just so wide. He can get so much surface area on his roaches. There's no
Yeah.
like funnel like where tanks or widow mines or something like that can kind of defend in an emergency. He kind of needs lots and lots and lots of bunkers.
Those four Hellions were sweeping around the left side there. They did get a scout off on that drone and actually picked it off, and all of them are going to make it out with their lives. So pretty efficient scouting there by Android, knowing that Pisos is at least planning a third, and not losing a single Hellion either. So Pisos are looking to get that third up. He's waiting, I think, for that lair to finish maybe before he starts his +1/+1 and roach speed so that they're timed up nicely together. So he's going to be hitting pretty hard if Android lets him get a full 3-base saturation here.
Yeah. Cloak Banshee's out of Android. I think Pisos is about to scout this with his Overlord as well. So he will have lots of notification on time to get those spore crawlers down. Widowmine's going to get this with Overlord. That's such a cute response for this mech play.
Yeah, not
Is he
bad
gonna
at
kill
all.
it? I love that. I'm a big fan of that. So stuff like that makes me so happy. How good is this game? And it's like, I've got anything I can shoot up is Widowmine, so I'm gonna chase this Overlord with my Widowmines to see how this goes.
So Pisosa only dropping the one spore in his main. Oh, second spore going down. Where's that one? Oh, right here in the middle of the natural and the third base. So it looks like he's going to rely on overseers and queens to do most of the defending of these banshees here. Let's see. Third base being built for Android at the same time here, so he's not completely all in. He's going to just try to get a little bit of damage done, but the roaches are starting to come out. And once Pisos is happy with his drone count at the third base here, he's going to be able to just go into insane roach production. So I'm actually wondering, is this... oh, he's following it up with a baneling nest. Pretty interesting. I don't really see that at a Pisos too often, but it's definitely viable.
He has melee upgrades going as well, so maybe these roaches are simply just for that safety against the Hellion. He does want to go towards... He's getting Ling speed now as well. He does want to go towards that Mutiling, Baneling composition eventually. That, or he might just shove all in with lots of Banelings, lots of roaches, lots of Lings.
I think
kind of
that...
off 3 base.
Yeah, that does look like what it's leading into be here, because we're seeing 11 more roaches come out of Pisosa, which is going to be probably the last 11 that he's going to make, I'm guessing, as the rest of them are most likely going to be Lings.
Lings, yeah. I love these tanks on the high ground of Android. Like, it's going to help defend so well. It's kind of like blocking off half the attack path, and he's got Widowmines protecting the other half.
Yeah, that's really smart. Because the one thing about this map here is that the natural area is so wide open that these tanks only really defend one side of it. But because he's got Widowmines over here on the right side, he's going to be pretty well covered, especially if the Lings run in first. We'll have to see what Pisosa does about that.
Queen's pushing these Banshees away nicely, and Baneling speed's on the way as well for Pisosa.
Yeah, he's trying to hit as hard as possible.
Yeah, kind of getting everything at once except for Mutilisks, and the lack of Mutalisks really leads me to believe he's just going to try and shove pretty hard into this wall, which just kind of works really well. I love this build against them making Terran. If you let them sit back, they're going to get a better army than you. It's just inevitable. But if you can hit them really hard with some speed roaches, some speed banelings, all at once, force them into a terrible engagement.
And it looks like that's what's going to happen here. This Overlord's still creeping up this third base for Android, so he's not going to be able to land that just yet. And also, Pisosa getting a full scout on what's going on here. So looks like he's poising for an attack on the third. The roaches are going to be coming in on these tanks right now. Oh, surrounding them and just taking out those two tanks with ease. Ling's coming in from the backside, going to be triggering off those Widowmines, and I don't know, there's a few Banshees here, which is good for Android, but these tanks are all going to die.
Yeah, these Banshees are going to help clean up, though. It's just, I don't know if there's enough for Pisosa. Like, there's Loriches and Lings swimming across, but the 3 Banshees are uncontested, and that's... He really needs to get a lot of drones killed. I wish he held some of those Lings back to make Banelings, so he could kill these SCVs even faster.
Well, he's got 11 worker kills right now, which is basically only evening up the supply in worker count. 2 more tanks on the ramp here. Actually, they might go down.
Yeah, they're derping out a little bit with that.
More Lings coming in too. That supply depot wall really paying off right now, though. And yeah, these Banshees eventually are going to win out, especially with Hellion support here. So Pisosa in a little bit of a pinch because he does have a slight worker lead, but we got double mule production here, and then a possible triple mule as soon as these Widowmines move out of the way. So
yeah,
I'd say Android is in a good spot right now.
Yeah, I love Android's spot. One of his Banshees has 21 kills on it last I clicked on. 22 kills on it. Those Banshees are complete heroes in this game. And Pisosa's taking a fourth now, and he's going up to Baneling Muta. Spire's only halfway done. And 2-2's on the way, but upgrades don't particularly like they matter, but they don't really matter against Mech. And Mech, just want to keep killing his army, and I don't think he did enough damage to Android's economy really. Like he's moving out now. This Ling Rumbar in the third is actually probably be more effective than that entire attack.
This is really good by Pisosa because he's probably going to force a lift off here, or no, he's just going to run on out of there. Actually, does force a lift off, but
does force a lift, yeah.
He needs to do anything he can to keep Android at home right now because his Spire's finished now, and if he does start getting a decent mute count, which is definitely possible on 4 bases, although these gases at the third haven't been saturated yet, so gas a little bit of an issue for Pisosa. It looks like he's going to go for Corruptors instead. Interesting, Roach Ling Corruptor with an infestation pit.
I mean, it's going to be good against the Thor, because the Thors aren't really great against Corruptors. You kind of need like a couple of Ravens to support and a heavy Viking count. And there's kind of 2 ways to play Mech. Is either you go Thors and you go light on the Vikings, or you go really heavy Viking and tank and kind of just win out that way. Swarm Hosts. We're getting Enduring Locusts are on the way. I love seeing Swarm Host battles. We could be in for a long one here.
It's possible right off the bat here. Set number 1 could very well be a really long game. These Lings and Roaches are attacking this Mech army. The tanks aren't sieged up yet, but those Hellbats are really doing a lot of damage. Finally, Banshees cloak up here though, and this is going to push the Zerg army back. A lot of these Corruptors taking some pretty needless damage right now.
I think it's just like he doesn't have the gas really to get the army he wants because he invested it all on that early shove, and it's like he doesn't have the army to kill like these couple of tanks, these Hellbats. There's a Thor in here. It's kind of just enough. I like the spread of Android's tanks as well.
Yeah, very well done by him. The Lings are going to start rushing in here though, and they're 2-2 Lings, so they're going to be able to chew up these tanks pretty quickly, and it looks like the game might not be over yet as we got 8 more Roaches popping out. That Thor's going down, and there's really only Banshees around here. Wait, did all those Banshees get taken out? They did.
Yeah, the Corruptors.
Wow, Pisosa is on the move now as on a counterattack here. And what does Android have? He's got a couple Hellbats. He's got a Thor. Those Hellbats could destroy these Lings. They're a little bit too far ahead of these Roaches, unfortunately. So Pisosa going to have to move back once again.
He reset the tank count, and that's key. I think he's like Android's trying to rush out Thors here because he's seen the Corruptors and he doesn't have any Vikings. But there are Swarm Hosts on the way, and Swarm Hosts kind of kill everything but tanks. Like you need to have high numbers of tanks, like 10 plus, really, to fight back the Swarm Hosts without losing stuff.
Yeah, we got 3. Yeah, not too sure what happened there, but luckily that is a feature in this game. So. Good thing we didn't have to restart the entire game for them. It looks like Android is not interested in rebuilding his tanks. He's just pumping out so many Thors right now. And as you said, Thors really are not that good against Swarm Hosts. Once Pisosa gets that critical number of Swarm Hosts he needs, I'm going to start liking his position a little bit more. Although Blue Flame is on the way, which is going to be a little bit helpful for those Hellbats. But I don't know, man. We got 5 base Zerg against 3 base Terran right now, and Swarm Hosts are on the way.
Yeah, he just needs to saturate those 9th and 10th gas geysers, and then he can continually trade against the Meching Terran. And that's kind of what you need to do as Zerg. You just need to continually trade, continually switch out your army composition, and force the Terran into a bad army composition. Because the whole point of Mech is sitting back to get the ideal, like, perfect unit composition. And if you can force him not to do that, you're going to have a good time. Like, you're going to win. And
Looks
he's
like
doing well so far.
Yeah, all these... well, this planetary here and all the extra orbitals that are coming through here are going to allow Android to trade out some of his SCVs as well, so that he can get a much bigger army here. On the other side, though, Greater Spire just about to be finished here, so I think, it would be silly for there not to be Broodlords to follow this up, and I kind of really like this because of their range. They can make those Thors pretty useless.
It's just never-ending free units for the Zerg player.
And not to mention he's already on 5 bases anyway. Like, he's got the income to trade away units that actually cost money, let alone free ones.
I'd like to see an Ultralisk Cavern thrown down when he's got the gas, just so he's ready to like change up that composition, so he's not stuck in just a one-track mind. So he can, if the Terran cleans up all these Corruptors and Broodlords, he can go into Ultralisks and attack with that army as well. But looking good for Pisosa.
Yeah, especially with the main base of Android being almost completely mined out. The natural is getting to that point as well. So with all these mules being used and shooting up those minerals incredibly fast, Android needs to move to a new area. He is. Oh, I thought that was him at the second gold base, but no, Pisosa taking that one as well. And these Swarmhosts and Broodlords are really going for it right now.
Yeah. So the lack of tank count is really hurting him here. He can't fight back these locusts effectively.
Wow, these Broodlords are really what's doing it here.
Yeah.
These stores can't
GG.
even make it. Wow, GG, nice job by
Just
Pisosa.
like that.
Great. Yeah, and what you said earlier about Pisosa going for a transition, he actually wasn't. So if Android was able to kind of stall the game out a little bit longer, he might have been in a better spot. But Pisosa hit at a good time after resetting all that tanks or all those tanks there, and that's all it really took.
Mm.
Wow, that was a fun game.
It was a really, really good game one. I think Android, like, I don't think he had the right unit composition. Like, he had a very low Viking count. And, like, mech at the moment for Zerg is really about high tanks, high Viking counts kind of thing. Because I think Thor's are good and all, and they're okay against mutas, but I think at this level, I think Pisosa, like, he didn't go mutas, but if he went mutas, I think he has the control with mutas to fight the Thors head on. I think I really prefer tanks and Vikings with a bit of turret support as well, kind of just to delay the whole time. It's good game though, Pisosa. Very well played.
Yeah, I think Android was really expecting Pisosa to switch into mutas there, and he like way overcommitted to the Thors, and then Thors can't reach Broodlords, especially when they have a position like that. So yeah, nice game, and that's going to give All Inspiration the 1-0 lead to kick things off.
It's a good game, good game. I really like Pisosa's play. And we didn't actually see that Ling Bailing muta style, which I kind of expected out of him, but not really a great map for it. It's a much better map for that.
Yeah, definitely.
That Roach style.
So the next set number 2 here looking to be a PvP.
Yes, PvP.
Yeah, this one's going to be on Ohana. So I wonder if they're both going to Immortal, 2-base Immortal push each other.
That's funny. I played against Arcadian about a week ago. Pretty good Protoss. Like he took one game. He took one game off me. He opens he plays kind of weird. He went like 4 oracles into like a 2-base storm shove. And with charge lots. It was a very weird play. So maybe he plays a little bit outside the meta. We might see something kind of crazy in this PvP.
Hopefully, anyway. Well, let's go ahead and start by introducing the players. I'll start at the bottom right corner of Ohana, spawning for Team Confederation. It's going to be the blue Protoss, Aruthor. And
in the top right, on Ohana, from All Inspiration, it is Arcadian. I think we messed TB Ham up. I think he was expecting the top left-hand side first. Very early probe.
I closed the stream, so I have no idea what he's looking at.
That's funny. Very early probe out of here. This is for proxy gates, for sure.
Yeah, that little spot on the natural there is pretty much built just for that here. So
yeah.
Hopefully, Acadian will get a probe out there to scout that out. One thing I do know about Acadian is that sometimes his scouting can be a little bit lackluster. He's really, really good at getting a build and perfecting it, and coming up with crazy builds like DT openings and like you said, the 4 oracles and that. But he gets a little bit tunnel vision, I think. So hopefully that's not what's going to happen. But he doesn't seem to have any plan of sending a probe out there.
Yeah, no, not even scouting after gateway. Like, it's an early gateway, which is kind of good for him. Like, he did go that 10 gate as well, but...
Yeah, I know
2 gates out of Aerosaur as well. So it's not going to be Stalkers, it's just going to be Chrono Zealots. Try and force his way in.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how this goes, because the longer Acadian doesn't scout it, the worse it's really going to be for him. Like you said, the lucky he did get that 10 gate. Cybercore going down. We'll see if he decides to get a Zealot of his own.
Yeah,
I'm not
there's kind of
sure.
two options with this like 10 gate build. You can chrono out a Zealot Stalker, Mothership Core kind of thing, or you can get that 10 gate so you can get early Stargate or early Robo or something like that. And I think his plan was to get that early Stargate or Robo. Having said that though, he's just chronoing a Zealot to kind of make me look like a fool.
Well, that's really lucky for him here. If he can get at least one Zealot out, it's going to be something here, as he's about to find out what's happening to him as this blue Zealot marches on in. Acadian now knows what's up, and that Cybercore is done, so he can get started on a Mothership Core. He's going with the probe first, though, which I think is a little bit of a mistake here, delaying that just a little bit longer. But that first Zealot's going to go down, but it's going to be followed up by 2 more here. This is going to be rough.
Well, this Mothership Core's almost done, though, so I think he's actually going to be okay. Like, he's still got a good 4 drone lead. If he can, he's got 2 pylons next to his gateway, so he can't even... Aruthor can't even unpower the gateway easily.
That's really
I
true.
think,
This Mothership Core going to be really key here.
yeah. Good micro pulling back the hurt Zealot, which was nice, but another Zealot out. I really think Arcadian's in a good spot here.
Yeah, that Mothership Core really helping out here, and it looks like Aruthor is continuing with the Zealot pressure here. He's got 2 more being made and chronoed out right now, so he's going to keep giving himself a bit of an edge with these Zealots, but with this Mothership Core here, they're not going to be able to do too much damage. Now, getting a couple probes here is nice, and if we look at the worker count here, Acadian actually still has a lead in that aspect, so...
Yeah.
Like
Eventually,
said,
there's going to be Photon Overcharge, and there's going to be Stalkers.
Mhm.
I really think this is like assuming Arcadian plays well out of this. I think he's going to be completely fine.
Still losing some probes here and there, though, actually evening up the worker count. But the difference is we got 3 gateways on the way here. He doesn't have Warp Gate yet, does he? No, so none of that.
It hasn't started Warp
stuff.
Gate.
No,
He's
and
kind
that-
of lost his probes on gas and hasn't replaced them yet.
so we might not
He
even
needs
see
to get
too many stocks.
Stalkers. Like if he gets Stalkers, kind of it's just over because Stalkers can kite Zealots for literal ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aerothor still hasn't even made an extra probe at home. He's just going ham on these Zealots, and he's getting quite a few of them out here. I think as good a position as Acadian is in, this is still quite a lot of Zealots. And like you said, without going back into the gas, there's going to be no Stalkers to really help defend against this. So, it's going to be weird.
It's just I
Just
think
one Zealot.
it's intense. Like I wish he just got back into gas because if he gets back into he got Photon Overcharge now, which is really nice. If he gets back into gas, he can't. It's just kind of over. Like he just gets Stalkers, he gets Warp Gate. He's got 4 gates, and he just goes across the map and kills Aruthor after killing these gates in his natural. But he has more Zealots now, which is kind of, and he's building probes again. So
Yeah, there we go. Oh, and there's a GG out of Aerothor. That's
well held.
Yeah, it was really really close, really intense, and I think it could have been responded to a little bit better, but it was just enough getting that Mothership Core out to push off the rest of those Zealots, and then it was still pretty intense after that, but that Mothership Core was just so much help that it really didn't matter.
Core was the hero in that game for sure. He was very lucky. He kind of blind counted that kind of perfectly because if he had even gone that late to 13 gate, the Zealots might have got enough damage done at that first push.
For sure. I know the 10 gate opening is something Acadian really likes to do, and it has a lot of different options, getting out that faster Stargate, faster Robo, or even just into a faster 3-gate pressure, which is really good also. So it has a lot of options, and it keeps you in the game to defend against anything like that. So that's how you hold a proxy 2-gate Zealot rush without even scouting it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's kind of perfectly done.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we're going to be going into our second game here our third game in just a moment. We have All Inspiration already kicking off a 2-0 lead, so looking pretty good so far. But it's still early here, and we're going to be going into another ZVT between TB Ham and Star-Tailed Bob.
Admin extraordinaire, TB Ham, versus the captain of Confederation. Pumped for this game, actually.
Yeah,
really
on Daybreak.
TB Ham Zerg is pretty good. Like he plays random normally.
Yeah, he does, but I think during the playoffs here, he's been picking his race because that way he can just more specifically train, an opening. Yeah, so so actually, I just found out he went random last week. So I thought he actually picked Terran last week, but
he played random against Shinobu from CT6 in TVT game.
In one of the way better TVT games that I've seen in a long time, especially coming out of TB Ham. That opening was really, really good that he pulled off. So we'll see if he has the same type of perfection in this game. As I might as well introduce him in the bottom left corner of Daybreak, spawning for Team All Inspiration, the red Zerg player, TB Ham.
And in the top right-hand side of Daybreak, the captain from Confederation, the Terran player, Star-Tailed Bob. I always get the picture of like this weird ass dude like sitting behind the computer screen with a massive afro trying to kill Bart Simpson every time he plays.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, so another ZVT here. Before we saw a sort of mech Terran going up against a Roach Baneling all-in that failed, but then transitioned into a really cool Swarmhost Broodlord endgame type of composition that was just too much to handle. So we'll see what type of differences we get in this game as the game gets going here. No
Yeah,
gas.
I know TB Ham likes to go roaches. He doesn't really like to play Ling Bailing as a Zerg player, from what I've
Right.
been speaking to him. Starto Bob, pretty good turn player. He's playing in the league that I'm running at the moment, and he's on top of his group in a mostly TVT group. But he took games off Gulahine, who's a very strong TVT player. So
Oh yeah.
whether or not what that means for his TVT, I don't know. But he is a very capable Terran player who to go up against TB Ham, which is probably two of the better platinum players running around in the CTL as far as skill goes. Right in the
Yeah.
top echelon of platinum, could be diamond kind of
Yeah.
area.
When season 3 and Dreampool came into play, a lot of people got demoted, and most people were able to
Yeah,
jump right back up, but some of them still stuck in the lower leagues here. And I think TV
yeah,
Ham is one of those guys.
yeah. Me as well. I was in diamond and I'm stuck in platinum as well. I broke my hand as well, so I kind of really wasn't able to play too much. So
So I think one of the games that's the absolute hardest to play with one hand would be StarCraft 2 for sure.
yeah.
So
At
that
the
kind of.
moment, I'm observing this game with my left hand, and that's it. So it's kind of weird.
Oh man, I don't even know if I could do that. That's
Yeah.
props to you for putting up with it and at least coming and joining us tonight to cast the finals because I couldn't observe a game with one hand. My
Mm.
left hand, I mean. But we do
Reaper
have a.
out of Startup
Oh
Bob,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. No, Reaper really standard here, and in most matchups when Terran is involved, just to get that quick and easy scout. But we had a really quick gas here out of TB Ham, and it looks like he's banking up quite a bit of minerals, getting those 2 queens here, 4 lings, and he's at 100 gas now. So I'm betting he's going to put that into a quick Zergling speed here.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it's a quick layer. I don't really think that's kind of his style. I'd imagine he's just going to get quick link speed for safety once he can afford it with the minerals.
Reaper trying to get some harassment done, but those lings are out, and they're going to try to be annoying to that Reaper. Nice save on that drone by TB Ham, getting them into the gas geyser here, and I think that's about all we're going to see out of this Reaper because the queens are just about to pop here. Is he going to let that gas finish?
I hope not. He doesn't need it. So there he goes.
There we go. Link speed was indeed started.
Yeah.
So a little bit different because yeah, I have seen the ZVT out of TB Ham before, and he likes to go for that 1-1 roach push, which most Zerg players do these days against Terran.
Yeah.
But no, instead it's going to be Zergling speed, so we might actually see a Ling Bling type of game out of TB Ham here.
We could do. It's the best kind though. I will forever. My favorite matchup will forever be TVZ, where it's just Ling Bangling Muta versus Bio and Mines, and a Thor or few thrown in there, and just constant back and forth for ages.
Yeah,
They're the best games to watch. It's
it
really
is really good. Those lings give you so much versatility. They allow you to move out on the map, but then also quickly run back if you have to defend a drop or anything like that. Where Roach Hydra is kind of like, it's almost like the mech of the Terran, right? Where it's like one big ball that moves slowly across the map and destroys everything. But with Ling Bling, you have all these different options you can go for. So yeah, well, it looks like both players just content to macro up here. The second base is down for Startail Bob, and he's moving into some tanks in the start port here. So
It's very interesting. A quick tank out of him. It might be simply because, like, as if we know, I'm sure he knows that TBN does like to play roaches, and so he might have just gone this Blyden tank just to be safe, which I actually kind of like from him. I don't think it's going to be mech as such, as he does throw down extra barracks. It's going to delay his stim, which is kind of not ideal, but getting tanks for safety is always a good option against a notorious roach player.
yeah, and we do have the third base coming down for TB Ham, so really getting himself nice and set up here for a later game after getting that second gas up. Following it up with a Roach Warren, though, so the Roaches aren't out of the question. They're definitely going to be, I mean, that could be there just for some quick defense if he needs them, or it could be part of, a Ling Roach all-in, which is definitely viable as well, especially if you throw a Baneling Nest in there with it, so we'll have to see here. With only 2 gases, I don't think Banelings are going to be added as well, so.
Nah. I like his creep spread. He's already pushed this out to the ramp. He's gonna the next creep trimmer will push it down to the third. Really active about that already, which I've noticed in the games I've watched of his as well. He's got some really good creep spread.
Yeah,
He really focuses on it.
There's a screenshot of TB Ham. I don't remember who he was playing against, but it's
Stark?
literally like
He showed me,
I think
yeah.
so. Yeah, I think it was
Ono-
Stark. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Ono
the whole
Hana?
map, the whole map
Yeah.
is creep. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. He does have a lot of APM to spare. It's kind of that's his APM isn't what's holding him back in platinum. It's a bunch of other things, but he does have APM to spare, so he just throws that into creep spread, which is super helpful. A lot of
Well,
roaches.
yeah, and he's actually got this Baneling nest down that was just scanned by Star-tailed Bob, so he knows about the Baneling nest. I'm just not too sure how aware he is about the roaches. I'm not sure if there was any sort of mini engagement that opened those up to him yet, but he looks to be pretty well defended on this. He's got a tank on the high ground, a tank behind the bunker. That bunker is pretty empty, to be honest, and the second bunker not finished yet. But these Banelings morphing in here are going to give those bunkers a chance to get filled up and finished. So this is going to be interesting. I think Star-tailed Bob has the edge here in defending this, though.
Yeah, the main problem is he doesn't know it's coming because he got those quick tanks. He didn't have Hellions, and Hellions defend well against Banelings just as well as tanks. But not knowing this is coming, not having those backup bunkers is a bit of an issue.
Here
These
it comes.
tanks, though,
Those bunkers completely empty. The Banes are going to just completely bust through. And you know what? I think I was wrong. That first tank going down super quickly. That second one on the high ground going to be nice, but he's still going to at least force a liftoff here and kill lots of SCVs.
yeah, 10, 11 workers killed, which is kind of at least the minimum he needed to get from this. I think he can at least trade okay with this push. If he can, I'm not sure if he can really push up into this funnel with the bio on top and the tank. It's going to be a lot different. He's going to make Banelings and try and shove his way in there. And he's getting this Overlord to try and snipe this tank. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, he needs to get that tank, and it looks like he's going to get it. These Banes are going to kill so many SCVs. Oh, getting lifted up by the Medivacs there. Nicely done by Star-tailed Bob to sort of mitigate his losses here, but there's still like 7 Banelings crashing up the ramp here. Tech Lab going down, wall being busted up, and more Lings streaming in to help the cause of the Zerg here as they're going to stream up this ramp. There's still a few Marines and able to do quite a bit of damage with the funnel here, but they're just going to run past.
Not an ideal fight for TB Ham, but getting that tank really, like if he didn't get that tank, that push with those Banelings would not have done much at all.
Yeah, but these Lings in the main here, they're going to pick off another tank also, I think.
And another 9 workers. I think he's done enough that...
Yeah.
Like there's still all this bio, and Stim is pretty much finished now. So I think like the push is over. As I say that, TB Ham's trying to rally more in, get him more Banelings, but...
Even with Stim and these Medivacs, though, this the amount of Lings here is going to be way
needs
more...
to be on the high ground. I think that's a mistake to push down now.
Oh, getting us around on some of these Marines here. The Marines are going to be pretty strong, especially with Stim here. Baneling's not in the fight with these Lings to help out, but I don't know. Lots of bio going down here.
A lot of Banelings. So Marauder is tanking well. These Banelings, they're trying to run up into me. Concussive Shell is actually super helpful.
A couple.
SCVs, yeah.
That could have been worse for Star-tailed Bomb, and I think even more. Let's see here. What do we got out of TB Ham? 24 more Lings, so he's definitely trying to get the kill here.
He's committing to it.
Yeah, the fact is though, with this third base with 14 drones on it, I mean he's got a lot of workers here. 50 workers to 19. He can afford to do this and just keep Star-tailed Bob on his back foot. I think he just wants to build up or pool up a few more extra army units though, so that he can actually get the kill instead of streaming in with low numbers to get taken out by this bio. But
triple mules for the Terran. You can never underestimate that power of the 3cc. Yeah, it's I think TB Ham those last few attacks. I think he just attacked a little bit in like 2 different armies. He kind of just needed everything together to go in all in one go. Should have been ideal.
I think so. Yeah, he's still in a good spot here though.
Yeah,
but like
he's not behind by any means. I just don't think he can kill. Like I think Star-tailed Bob, it has a possibility of coming back in the game.
I'd like to see some Baneling speed and maybe some +1/+1. There's a +1 upgrades coming through and a Spire going down as well. So TB Ham switching it up this week, and it's paying off here as he's given himself an insane lead in this game. And it's really his game to throw now. So we'll see. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen from his point of view. But Star-tailed getting a much-needed time to kind of clean himself up and get himself picked up again and getting that wall rebuilt. So the game's not over yet.
I'd like to see TB Ham take a 4th and go up to that 7th and 8th gas geyser, just because so he can support both lots of Banelings, lots of Mutas to defend drops. Because that's really how he's going to lose. Is like Star-tailed Bob somehow gets like a ninja expand up, or he dies to drop, or TB Ham dies to drops. He's already got pretty good Overlord coverage to defend the drops.
Yeah, and a few Lings and Banes and a Spore Crawler as well, and his main getting ready for that. His third base is still pretty open though, so he's got to be careful with that. But he's still at the point where, okay, here's a macro hatch going down. I thought that might have been a 4th, but he's still pretty much in this point of the game where he can only build or he only has to build army units, so
Mhm.
he can trade pretty efficiently. That is going to be so many banelings. That's insane.
So significant amount of banelings, isn't it? 24 on the way. He's already got 12, so it's up to 36. Startup
That's
trying to take this third, which is spotted by Ling as well.
Yep, and he's got a lot of marauders, and these few widow mines scattered across the place too could be really deadly to those banelings. So TBHam has to be really careful. But the opening to the natural is pretty open right now. So if TBHam gets a clue about that, he'll be able to do a lot of damage. Although, of course, right when I say that, Startail Bob closing that door.
I would like to see him wait till banning speed. I don't want to see him attack before banning speed's done because it's just going to be so easy for the Terran to micro his Marines back and just let the banelings absorb all the hits. Otherwise, if you can wait till banning speed, +1/+1's finished for TB Ham.
Yeah, and speed is going to finish just after this engagement actually happens. This is kind of too bad for TBM. He's got to back up here.
This Widow Mine. Oh, does separate a few banelings off. I like that. Oh, that's a lot of banelings. My goodness me.
Huge mine hit, and all these Marauders in really good positions here. These banelings really not doing as much damage as they were supposed to do, and Startail Bob coming up pretty good from that. Yeah,
I like that trade for Startail Bob, but it's those little trades that he can take that will get him back in the game. Lings are flooding in now, and if they're 1/1 Lings, good micro here from Startail Bob actually.
Yeah, stopping the surround here. These Lings are trying really hard for it, though. The medevac's helping out quite a bit. Marauders are so tanky. You're seeing that right now. It looks like the bio is going to actually live through this attack here. And yeah, the Startail Bob needs to do that maybe 1 or 2 more times, and he's totally right back in this game.
Some mutas killed some SCVs in the main as well. There's actually no mining. Oh, there's one SCV in the main mining gas. That's it. There's no mineral.
Oh, the third base. TB Ham stretching his opponent.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Jesus, he's getting his third base too, forcing the SCVs to leave and evacuate. This Bioforce is going to eventually be able to push that back, though. But look, the muta's coming back in through the main. Those missile turrets aren't done yet.
No, it's not. I'd like to see TB Ham focus on some add-ons, maybe, if he can get in here. Because there's no workers to kill, so I reckon killing add-ons would be great. Just really slow down that marine production, if he could. Killing anything, though, is kind of good. It's better than killing nothing.
Although I suppose the supply depots, it looks like he's targeting down, are probably the least priority out of everything here.
Yeah.
But he's going to get out of there with those mutas, not lose too many, and just kind of putting Startail Bob a few steps back again, killing 17 more SCVs in that process. Really nice play here. He's, like you said before, he's all over the place, stretching his opponent really thin, forcing him to multitask. And to give credit to Startail Bob, though, he's dealt with it about as well as you could have expected.
Yeah, he's hanging in there for a completely unscouted Roachling Bailing. Well, I wasn't really all in. He was off 3 bases. Yep. Really powerful shove. He's doing well. He's hanging in there as long as he can.
This Mutaflock is getting bigger and bigger, although he's losing quite a few of them to these Marines. He's really focusing on that armory, which is going down, so that's a thing. I don't know exactly how important it was for...
Yeah, he's already got +2 attack, like halfway done, or a third of the way done. Doesn't have +2 armor started yet, so he's going to have to rebuild that armory, especially if he wants Thors as well, obviously. And TB Ham's finally saturating this 4th base. Needs to get in those gas geysers, though, so he can continually keep these trades up. Because if he gets up to those, like, that 7, 8, 9, 10 gas geysers, he's kind of... Well, extractors, not gas geysers. He's kind of going to do... He'll be able to continually take these trades for a long time as a Zerg player.
Yeah. He's already kind of in that position, to be honest. Wow, those 2 Marauders sucking up a lot of Baneling hits there. Good job by Startail Bob. And this missile turret wall in his main is enough to push back the mutas for now. So he's stabilizing here a little bit, but he's almost mined out of the main, and he's going to be pretty much on 1 base mining here.
Oh. He needs to save this third. This third's burning down. Can't let this third burn down.
If those 2 lanes would have got that.
Yeah. He's even on army supply. Like TB Ham's just finished 2-2, and Startail Bob has 1-1. He's almost got 2-1 now. So he's a little bit behind in upgrades, but his army supplies are even. So he's not out of this game, and with mules, mules can keep the Terran alive for such a long time.
Yeah, and that's pretty evident even in this game. I mean, there was in any other race would have been dead with 15 workers, or however many Startail Bob had. But he's been able to stay in this game, and TB Ham just needs to keep doing what he's doing with these mutas and harassing when the Terran army leaves. He can see this army on his creep, so he's swinging around with his Lings and Banes, and going to try to kind of I don't know if he wants to engage his army or if he just wants to go in and harass the main once again, but it looks like he's going to harass in the natural, and he's getting a lot more damage done here. This is insane. I think this might be the push that ends it here. All these
Yeah,
SCVs going to go down to Banelings. Oh my god, 27
probably
workers
Bailings.
killed. The third CC goes down, and now, actually, he could have run into the main. He actually doesn't. He's pretty happy with killing 29 SCVs and just backing off again.
He
13.
lost yeah, so many workers down, but he lost a lot of banelings against Marauders. It's like Starter Bob still has an army supply lead. I mean, 3-3 is started. That's kind of the advantage that TBHM's got, is he can afford to go to Hive and go to 3-3, but
He's gotta
pretty
be
big
careful.
Terran army moving across the map.
Yeah, and this is the worst position you can be in as a Zerg when you think you're totally winning on every single front of the game, but except for the fact that the Terran army is gigantic right now with medevac support, this Ling Bane force is not going to be able to kill this Bioforce. Oh, well, he
It's
took
a
out all the
lot of,
Marauders, I suppose.
yeah, which is nice if he
Tec-
can buy enough time to get more banelings to clean up the rest of these Marines, but
yeah, technically not an efficient trade, but
no,
in
definitely
this
not.
situation, the Mutas are back in the natural again. They're going to take out that second base. It's really up to these Marines and these few Marauders here to end the game for Startail Bob, and there's a chance that it can happen.
He's going to stop 3-3, which I don't think is really going to change the game, to be honest. 3-3 was kind of just a bonus for TB Ham.
Mm-hmm.
He's slowly trying to clean up this force in his natural. There's Banelings rolling in, and Lings. It's just so little things. I think his Banelings are going to do it. He lifts up, and yeah, the army supplies are even, but I think most of the army supply evenness is now just in Medivacs.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
these
lot of
Mutas are going to
Medivacs.
catch. The boost just
Oh, they
ran
are.
out. These Mutas are totally
Oh.
going to crush all these Medevacs here, and I think that's going to be the tipping point here.
That's finally is. And it's a very, very good game. It's a very entertaining
Oh,
macro game, just quietly. It's been the best game so far.
Yeah, and it was exactly like you said about the Ling Bling Muta
Yeah.
play. Just creates awesome games if
Yeah.
the two players play correctly, and both these guys playing really well so far. Startail Bob knows the significance of this game, so I think he's going to stick in here till the bitter end. He does have one base and mules, so
Yeah.
he could still be in it here, but he's pretty broke right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of time. We have the luxury of seeing everything on the map. Fifth base going
Obviously.
down. So we know what's up, but Startail gonna try to stick into this and pull off a miracle here.
Yeah.
That creep
Still
spread
game.
still continuing.
He's still good. He's getting close to probably what would have been the Terran's fourth if the Terran ever got a fourth on this map. But yeah,
There was a
just needs to
drop.
make.
There was a
There a
drop
drop?
down here at the bottom. Yeah, well, he was thinking about sneaking into the main, but he turned around right when he went over creep. So I wonder if he expected to be spotted there, and decides to come back. And there's a GG as soon as. Excuse me. As soon as Startail Bob saw the force that TB Ham had, that was it. So, wow. Nicely played again by TB Ham. Looking like he deserves to be playing random for sure.
Yeah. His Zerg is definitely his best race, though.
Is
That
it? Yeah,
allows him
well,
to-
I mean, the
yeah,
look. Really
I think it is. Like, in my opinion. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah.
what he thinks, but from the games I've seen, I think Zerg is his best race.
Yeah, well, I'm just going off what I saw from him last week when he was playing Terran, and he looked really good there too. So,
Yeah.
could be, an attribute to the amount of time he's putting into practicing this week or these weeks throughout the playoffs here. So, just really paying off there, and that's a 3-0 start for Team All Inspiration, which, to be
So
honest, is
long.
kind of it's pretty much what we've been used to throughout the season, but. Just because of all the amount of work we've been putting in, but I'm kind of surprised to see it coming to this in the finals here. And to be honest, I'm hoping that Team Confederation can come back a little bit and make the series a little bit more close. But we have
Yeah.
another game coming up here, set number 4. It's going to be a ZVP this time, so that's going to be different.
Little Tramp is a very good Zerg player for Confederation. I hope they
Actually,
get on the board.
yeah, for sure. I mean, we want to see a competitive series, right? No matter which team I play for or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm all about having a good series here and seeing some good games, which we haven't been disappointed on. We've seen some good games already. They've just been, yeah, they've just been all going into All Inspiration's favor so far. But this time on Cloud Kingdom, we're going to have a ZVP, and I'll go ahead and introduce the Zerg player in the bottom corner of Cloud Kingdom, spawning in the red for Team Confederation. It's going to be the Little Tramp.
And in the top right-hand side of Blink Kingdom from All Inspiration, it is Blink SCV. I hope he just goes like 2-gate Blink Stalker. Or, sorry, +2 Blink Stalker all in, just to really round out the whole Cloud Kingdom. Is really good for Blink. His name is Blink. He is Protoss. He should go Blink. That's what I think, at least.
Well, we'll have to take a look. This is one player I'm not too familiar with, so excited to see his playstyle on this map here, which, as you said, really good for Blink. This main base is so, like, there's just this entire area where you can just blink in and harass, and then not only that, but when you're trying to run away, you can blink out, and it's just really hard to deal with. So we'll see if that's the direction he wants to go here, and we're going to have a drone scout coming out of the little tramp because he wants to see exactly what's going on. I do like this.
I love the drone scan.
Yeah, me too, because it allows him to see if there's going to be a forge going down, and if he can take maybe 3 bases before pool, be really cool.
I hope his plan is that. I especially love the drone scout if you're scouting out to see if it's gateway first or not. Because if you see that gateway first, you can go 3 hatch before pool and feel pretty safe about it. If there's no forwards.
He's getting that scout off right now.
So drone's coming down to make the hatch by the looks as well.
Yeah,
let's go hatch first.
We are definitely going to see a hatch first, at least. The thing is with this gateway first, it can kind of push you away from wanting to go 3 hatch before a pool because of the fact that like a 3 gate or a 4 gate is still possible, and it's still tough to hold. I mean, we can't all be life and hold with 4
just lings against zealots, which doesn't make sense, but he still does it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if the little tramp is going to feel confident enough to go that far, but. There's a drone out here, and it's going towards the 3rd base. And
he has put down his pool, so he's going for it.
Awesome.
Which I love.
Yeah, me too. I mean, whenever I'm able to open up with a 3 pool before hatch, or sorry, 3 hatch before pool, you always feel a 3 pool before hatch would be something else, but you always feel awesome, when you pull it off, and then it just sets you up for like the whole game. So.
Every time I try it, though, I always over-drone and then just lose to 4-gate pressure for some stupid reason. I was like, I get to like 20, 22 drones, I scout the 4 gates, I'm like, okay, time to build units now, and then I just build another like 10 drones, and then he comes and kills me, and I'm like, why did I do that? Why am I building drones? Like, it's frustrating.
Because when you have those 3 bases, you just feel like you have to saturate them all too, and like before. So it's a trap that you can fall into, but. We'll see out of the little tramp, see if he goes for that. He is scouting the natural going down, so he feels pretty safe that there's not going to be a 4-gate or even a 3-gate out of this, which is good for him. But Blink SDV just trying to get his macro going here off of 2 base, and then once this once this natural is done, we'll be able to see exactly where he wants to go with his tech plans.
Indeed. It's gasless out of out of little tramp as well. So still staying, going to rely on queens and probably zerglings to defend any kind of pressure, and a spine crawler maybe even as well. Not going to get those quick ling speed or quick roaches or anything like that. This overlord, well that might get shut down.
I think he's going to get away, but the most important thing was the Blink STV able to push him away before he was able to spot that Stargate. I believe so anyway. Yeah. Stargate was not spotted, so he's going to be able to do that in secrecy, at least for now.
That's in a really good spot as well. That's going to be so hard for him to see the Overlord, because that Overlord's so weak now. And
there's a Zergling. The Zergling running in. If it's on an A move, which it isn't, it might. No, it's not going to get up there. So close. If he had a second ling with that, he totally would have been able to see.
I wouldn't be surprised to see some blind spores maybe soon. Just because he's sending in another Overlord now to try and from the 3rd base to try and see what's going on.
Blind spores are definitely a good idea in CVP, especially with the fact that he could be opening TTs behind this. He could be opening Stargate, so it doesn't hurt to throw down a spore at each base. So far though, Little Tramp not opting for that. This Oracle is being chrono boosted out and is almost on its way here, and this Overlord not looking like it's going to scatter it in time.
No, the Stalker hasn't moved either to try and shut it down.
It's heading up there right now. I think the Sentry actually is. But the blind spores are going down, though, so that's going to be incredibly helpful
I like that
for
reaction.
the Little Tramp. Oh, yeah, definitely. Because now, I mean, his bases are basically safe. There's going to be a couple drone kills because Oracles are really good at killing drones, but not as many as he would have hoped for investing this much in this opening.
Yeah, especially that it hasn't been scouted, and there's not even going to be a drone kill.
Wow.
So, it's good play from the Little Tramp. Very solid defensive play. He's got the best opening. He's defended against this Oracle. He's in a very good position here, I think.
That Oracle not even taking a single shot. I suppose the good news in that is that it's saving up its energy and might be able to do something a little bit later. But as of now, it's just going to be a scouting flying unit,
Yeah.
and it's going to be able to get the scout off. And he's moving into a robo tech over here.
Mm.
So
It's not that 4-gate pressure either, so Little Tramp can feel free to saturate these bases now. Like, he doesn't need to cut drones to be able to defend against that pressure. He can freely drone up to 3 bases, 65, 60, 65, 70 drones, and then start pounding out units, which is, I think he's in a solid position.
he's going for melee upgrades here, which I find really interesting. Generally, you don't see that. It's not that it's bad, though. I think that it could be pretty good for him. It's just that you just don't really see it that often. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out here. I'm hoping he goes into like a huge Ling flood into Lair, which hasn't been started yet, by the way. Kind of late for that. And then follow it up into Hive with Ultras and stuff would be pretty cool. But that's far down the line so far. So.
Blink's taking a third. There was a Ling here which got killed, so he knows that there was perhaps intentions from Blink to take a third. Needs to get a Ling across there to confirm it, though. Just to make sure that there is a third and there isn't a 2-base all incoming.
Yeah, really important to know that, especially on this map. I find the Immortal Sentry push really good on this map as well.
Yeah.
Because you come in from
so good.
Yeah, force fields are way too good on this map. So getting another
Oracle.
scout off.
Trying to kill the 4th. The Oracle.
Oh no!
Wailing away at the 4th.
Oh, it's actually kind of close.
It got
He actually gets to cancel. Wow,
Wow.
but then it's gonna die.
Yeah. That was the best the Oracle could hope for. Really
least it
shouldn't have
did
got it cancelled. Yeah, it did something.
More gateways coming through to finish up this wall off on the third base, and the longer Little Tramp goes without scouting this, the better it's going to be for Blink SDV, who is not going into Blink. He's actually just going into regular Colossi gateway play here, which against the pure Ling style that we're seeing so far, it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Lings, though, moving up towards the third base, and you know
Timed
what?
out well with 1-1 as well.
Yeah, he's totally going to be able to get a lot of damage done here. He might even just take out the third altogether.
Blinky SCV's turning around and then realizing, he's changed his mind.
He almost caught a Colossi out of position here, but great move by Blink SCV to move it up onto the high ground. Instead, he's going to take out that third base and just run back home and defend his fourth base, being harassed by so many sentries here.
A lot of force fields. We'll see how good his force field control is to defend against these Lings. If he can get that donut going, he's losing a lot of sentries. Already lost 2, I think 3.
And he's not going to... Yeah,
he gets
a recall.
And doesn't get a cancel. That's unfortunate for Blink SCV.
Yeah,
he gets a recall, but he lost all the sentries.
Yeah, well, did he lose all the sentries? He didn't even save a couple. Oh my god, wow, that's terrible, because now he's got to start from scratch with low energy sentries, and it looks like he might not even be interested in building them here. We'll see. Just going with Stalker, so he's going to have Zealot, Stalker, and 1 or 2 Colossi here, and there are so many Lings.
How many Lings are there? There's 74 Lings out on the map. That's a significant amount of Lings, and Hive's on the way, which I would probably think is for Vipers.
Could be Vipers. It could be Ultras. He's getting. I don't know if it's going to be Vipers because he's getting pathogen glands for his infestors here.
Infestors.
Yeah, so I don't know if he'd want to get Vipers to go with that. Oh, that Colossi finally. Is he going to get it again though? Blink SCV moving it to the high ground here, and it's going to contribute a crap ton of damage to all these Lings here. But some of the Lings running up into the main, looking a little indecisive there, and they're all going to get cleaned up.
It really could have sent Lings into both the natural and the main and tried to get a lot of probe kills. Sorry, he was a little bit just indecisive. Decided maybe he could take the fight against the army, and then decided no. Then changed his mind again, and really didn't get a good trade for his Lings.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Little Tramp, because he definitely had options, but maybe that was the issue. Was there's too many options. He could have gone after the third, or the Colossi that was exposed, or the main, or even the natural. So it's tough. Sometimes you just got to pick a random option and just go for it.
Yeah. Infestors on the way.
11.
Yeah.
That is so many. And there's the Ultra.
Yeah. Ultras. And Cracklings. Adrenal Glands is on the way as well for the Lings.
These guys are so strong against Protoss in the end game.
Yeah.
I'm really liking the position Little Tramp is putting himself into here, because once he gets maxed... once he gets maxed out on like Speedling Ultra, Speed Crackling Ultras with max armor and everything, he's going to be pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah, and Infestors to hold everything together as well. I mean, the Colossus are good against Infestors because they just have absurdly large range, but still, I love Little Tramp's position is solid. He's on good four bases. He hasn't saturated the minerals on the four bases yet, but he's getting the gas from it,
Well,
which
it's
is
important to note
nice.
too. We're only 14 or almost 15 minutes into the game here, and we got plus two
Max.
finishing, and he's maxed out. So that's gonna give him a really good option here to do a lot of damage. He's just got to make use out of all his units here.
Yeah. The problem with this though is Blink SCV is in a pretty solidly defensive place. He's got a little choke to get into the natural. He's got a little choke to get into the third. He's got Colossus sitting behind gateways and cannons and stuff like that. It's really hard for the Lings to be as effective as possible. Because, like, if the army's out on the map, then this Zerg army is super strong. But he's fighting in chokes with the Ultras, and the Ultras are kind of just going to get in the way almost.
Yeah, for sure. I think what we're going to see here is an attack, and he's going to notice how defensive Blink STV is, and then he should back off and grab a couple expansions here because he's only on four bases. He could easily take a fifth base here without too much
Yeah.
hassle.
Infestor's moving up. Throwing Infested Terrans, actually, which I guess is nice.
Yeah, a lot of these. That's a lot of infested Terrans, actually. A couple infestors going down. These Ultras are effectively getting in the way, as you said before.
Yeah.
Not doing too much, but the force field's not doing too much. That one Ultra just canceled almost all of them.
The
And
Ultra
yeah, he sacrificed his life for the greater
sacrifices
good.
life. The Colossus are kind of just dominating this fight, though. Sitting
He
behind
doesn't.
this kind of wall.
He doesn't have enough ultras yet, and they're not maxed out on armor yet, which is going to be happening soon, though. The Dark Shrine, by the way, coming down here for Blink SCV, and I really like that choice. We do have a Ling run by over at the Natural as well, taking out that wall off that Blink SCV had set up here. So maybe opening in an avenue for attack, and at the same time coming back into the third base, and there's less defense here now, but Void Rays are starting to get pumped out, so very
Yeah,
helpful.
and I don't think that. I think Blink SV needs to pull back. He shouldn't be out here on the map below this natural. Because if he comes out on the map, that's when the Zerg player is going to have a good time. Because that's where he wants to be fighting, out in open
Right.
spaces. Make use of those lings. Get all his ultras involved in the fight.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like he's just trying to move back and forth here. Blink SCV a little confused, moving his Stalkers and Colossi down to the bottom side here. Meanwhile, Little Tramp just totally took out the third. I'm not too sure
To get
why
the
those
third.
units were going that way.
Hmm.
I think
It's a bit of a.
he was expecting some head games there, but it actually wasn't there. He just head gamed himself into bringing himself
It
out
could
of
have
position.
even. It could have been the Sim City a little bit. He might have just A moved behind, like down like the little
Ah,
sneaky
yeah.
passage, and the army might have derped out a little bit and just kind of gone around instead of fighting.
That's true, yeah. That's
Yeah.
one of the flaws of A moving for sure.
As an army lead now, and he's taken a fourth, is Blink SCV. And Little Tramp really needs to saturate this fourth and take a fifth. Like he's
Yeah, he should have been
oversaturated.
he should have been expanding like crazy behind that. Actually, he had so much time here, and the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for the Protoss. But still, things looking pretty good here for um, Little Tramp as well, I don't know, this Stalker or this Protoss army's maxed out and moving across the map here. So we'll see.
So this doesn't have much really to fight this Colossus though. I mean, Ultras are good against Colossus, but it's not ideal. All those infestors are dying very quickly.
There's even a warp prism here that's not really doing anything right now, but it could be warping in reinforcements. The Hydra switch, not really at the best time here. These Ultras, though, are finally in a good
Ultras
position.
finally have done some work.
Yeah, it took them forever to
GG,
get
just
into
like
that.
that. Wow.
Wow, that's all it took, I guess. So the overall plan was really good for Little Tramp. I think the execution was here and there, but he did end up getting that third base, and that was a lot for Blink SCV to come back from, as he had to rebuild that, and then he probably felt like he was so behind, so he went out for an attack, and then finally the Ultras were able to get into a good position to get something done.
Yeah. I don't think he needed to attack. I think if he had stayed back, because he was taking his fourth behind that, and Little Tramp was only on four bases, and Protoss is even on with the Zerg on bases. And he was down in upgrades, which is nice. But if he sim city'd up that fourth base and sat behind it with Colossus again, and just continually forced the Zerg into bad engagements, because he did like
Yeah.
the Zerg was staying on Ling Ultra, which is really reliant on getting a good engagement out in space.
Yeah,
As
and
we
it would have given him some time to transition into maybe some Immortals or some Void Rays. He did make a couple Void Rays, but he didn't kind of
Yeah.
keep up with it. So
Yeah, wasn't enough to wasn't like 6 or 7 really to fight back the ultras heavily.
yeah. All right, so that's going to give Team Confederation their first win of the series. Going to bring the score to 3-1, and it was really well played, I think, by both players. Obviously, the Zerg player played a little bit better to get the win, and I liked his plan right off the bat. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun to watch and to cast, and that's going to get us set up for set number 5, which is going to be on Shakura's Plateau, coming right up.
Burn versus Minimum Rage. PvT. Goal game.
Yep.
Be a solid game. Minimum Rage fielded quite a bit for All Inspiration. 8 times so far.
Yeah,
Regular player for you guys.
and he only had the one loss, I think, during the regular season. Is that right? I
Yeah.
think so.
7-1.
Yeah, Minimum Rage, if you haven't seen any of his games yet, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially against a Protoss here. We'll see if he goes with what he's done in the past. Or maybe, though, knowing that it's a incredibly important matchup here, he might switch it up. We'll have to see. But I'll go ahead and introduce him in the bottom left corner of Shakura's Plateau, spawning for Team All Inspiration. It's going to be the Red Terran Minimum Rage.
And in the bottom right-hand side, spawning close by air from Confederation, it is the Protoss player Burn. What does Minimum Rage like to do in TVP normally?
Well, okay, so from my experience of casting his games, he usually opens up with some sort of one base drop play into a relatively fast expansion after that, usually involving either Hellions or Widow Mines. And then
He likes
after
the
that,
factory.
yes, he gets the early factory. He then transitions into 3 or 5 factories and then goes full tank Widow Mine and wins with it.
Tank Widowman. Oh, actually, I saw that cut. When was I watching that? It was on Cloud Kingdom, and he went just like stupidly amount of like Widowmines, like 30 plus.
Yeah,
That
30
was
plus,
silly.
usually about 15 to 20 tanks to go with it.
That's
So
so
we'll
very
see though.
interesting.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is, though, it's kind of predictable. And if Byrne has done his homework, he's going to be able to see that there's quite a few of these games have been casted where he has all the time he wants to look and see what Minimum Rage does and figure out a way to combat it. So we'll see about that with Byrne. Now, unfortunately, I don't know too much about Byrne's playstyle here. So we'll have to see what he can do to bring to the table here in this game. Because one more win for Team All Inspiration, and that's going to put Confederation way on the back foot pretty early on here. So hopefully he can step it up and take down the almighty Minimum Rage.
Probe Scout out of Burn as well. He's well aware of the gas timing and the barracks timing, so he knows what's up. And he's going just a single gas out of him, not the double gas. So probably looking just to get the Cybercore and a nice early expansion. No real crazy early 5-minute Stargate or anything like that. As there are police in my driveway. This game might get cut short. That's interesting.
Oh, what?
There's a police
Wow.
like my window's like right next to like my front yard, and there's a police car pulled up.
Okay, well, great timing on that. If we,
Interesting.
yeah,
If I disappear suddenly, that's why.
yeah. Well, hopefully everything's okay.
I hope so. Oh, it looks like they're moving down the street. Hopefully not
Okay.
me. I don't do anything illegal, so should be fine. Anyway, moving on. This probe hidden up here in the top right side, top left hand side.
Yep, sneaky probe. He's going to be dropping down a pylon relatively shortly, I'm sure. It's a little bit late. Actually, not quite. I mean, it would be right around now when he would drop down a pylon for maybe a proxy Stargate after an expansion, but looks like he's just going to move out and maybe he was just hiding so he can get a scout later.
Yeah, it's going back to confirm the scout on minimum rage by the looks. It's to see exactly what he's doing. Reaper is moving across the map for minimum rage. He's just scouting out. I don't think he's going to try and get any probe kills just from his pathway. He might actually lose his Reaper. Oh, not quite. It's going to get away. They live forever, Reapers.
Yeah, they do.
I was
No
silly
matter how
to
much
think
damage
he
they
was
take.
gonna die.
No, he's just going to hop off the side of the map here and then come back 30 seconds later, full health. He does see the expansion, though, and he got to see everything in the main, so he knows what's going on here. That second base coming down at a regular time for minimum rage, and he's getting that factory to follow it up. Again, pretty normal coming out of him. The thing
Yes,
about
we'll see if
minimum rage... Oh,
Go on,
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to say, see if it's for Widow Mines or for Hellions or anything like that. I like factory in TVP. A second factory. Oh wow. Looks
Yeah,
like we're going to
that's
see that factory shenanigans out of him.
definitely interesting here. He's dropping onto the reactor here. There's no starport yet, so maybe he'll be bypassing the whole drop play that he's used to doing.
Getting Widow Mines.
I like what he's doing too with this Reaper, scouting the entire corners of the map, looking for any sort of proxy pylon. Not going to find one yet. That probe is still out on the map. He's just over on Burns' side of the map here, so staying pretty safe over there.
I like his activeness with the Reaper. That's a very good play from him. I've been watching a lot of Unrivaled games lately, helping them prepare for their matches the last couple of weeks, and a lot of their Terran players actually don't do this. They don't be active with their Reaper after they're scouted. They scout
the
once or
first
twice
time.
and then send it home. It just stays in their army. I just keep telling him just continue, like leave it on a patrol or something like that around the map.
Yeah, because he's
may
going to
as well.
spot this robo.
Yeah,
So he knows about the robo, which is
so
generally standard.
valuable information. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
standard. It was after the one gate. Nice and safe, really. The
Reaper
Reaper
came so
lives.
close. And again,
6
30
health.
seconds later, it'll come back full health and get another entire scout off here. Got to see everything once again. But I like Burn here, waiting till the Reaper's out of the main here, and he's going to drop down a few more gateways to follow this up, to bring it up to 5 gateways, I think, off of 2 base, which is pretty standard. And he's getting some sentries here, so it looks like he's just trying to defend his natural, which has been up for quite a while now compared to minimum rage. So he's had the edge economically, and that's being shown here by the supply lead he's got right now.
I want Burns Observer to duck into the main here. Oh, he's going to lose it to these Marines as well. It was a good pick up there from minimum rage. He saw the Observer. Oh, just gets away.
Wow.
I want to see this Observer just confirm the double factory, because he saw the Widow Mines with it briefly, but he needs to get in and confirm that that's what minimum rage is doing.
Yep, and he is getting that. Well done by Burn there. That was so close. Almost lost the Observer, but now Burn knows exactly what's coming out. He's going to see more tanks coming out of these factories, and he's going to be able to at least confirm this playstyle coming out of minimum rage if he didn't know about it already.
It's half the battle. Now, does he know how to actually fight against it, though? That's the next question.
I think he does, because look at this double expansion into a third and a fourth. I really, really like that play. That shows that Burn has done his homework here, because minimum rage is probably not going to move out for another 10, 15 minutes. So why not get these expansions up? And he's going to be really prepared. Finally, that Reaper going down as I randomly scroll past it dying. Yeah, that Reaper goes down, and Stargate coming out. And I think Burn is responding very correctly to this.
Yeah, I don't know if like these guys are gold players. I'm not sure if it was him that came up with this response, or if it was one of his like the high league players on Confederation practicing with him and telling him, all right, if he does this, go take 2 expansions, go up to Stargate, and get Tempest and get Void Rays or Carriers or whatever the choice may be. I actually want to see Carriers, to be honest.
It
Carriers
could
are,
be. I think it's going to be Tempest, though. I'd put my money on Tempest over Carriers.
Like as I mech against, like I play Terran and I mech against Protoss, and I find Carriers the hardest to deal with. Well, actually, I find Phoenix even harder, but I don't think Phoenix will do too well against the heavy Widow Mine style. But I think Carriers are just so hard to fight against. Really comes down to a solid micro battle. Like Tempest are pretty hard countered by Ravens, but not that Burn has gone into Ravens yet. Not that Minimum Rage has gone into Ravens yet, but
yeah, well, we'll
either
have to see
way,
this.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, for sure. And the Fleet Beacon is up. Minimum Rage getting a scout on his 3rd base here with that Marine. So we'll see what Burn wants to go into after that Fleet Beacon finishes up. And I'm a little bit worried for Minimum Rage here because of his passive style here, sitting back. He's actually going to be defending instead of attacking, which is something he's not really used to as far as... Oh, look at that. He's getting a Void Ray and a Carrier, so...
He's going Carriers. I like that choice.
Yep.
I love that choice.
Well, we'll be able to see exactly...
Minimum Rage sent his Widow Mines out to kind of harass bases. He really is very, very passive.
Yes, he definitely is. He's like the definition of a, I don't want to say a velo because it's not quite like that, but very passive, defensive, wait until you have 3 or 4 bases up and then just go and crush your enemy type style, which is similar to a velo, but it just seems to be done differently from Minimum Rage's point of view.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see here. But like you said, the more passive he is, he's trying to land that 3rd base, so he'll be on 3 at least, which will even the playing field a little bit. But he's it's kind of a situation now where in previous games, the longer the game goes on, the better it is for minimum rage. But I think it might be the opposite this time.
Yeah, if he's finally got a scan off on these starports, so and sees the
Yeah,
fleet beacon as well, so he should expect that, and I hope he throws down a bunch of starports himself,
yeah, he did
because
even
if
see that carrier too. So
if he lets the Terran sit back and get 10 carriers and lots of void rays, it's pretty hard to fight that army
mhm.
correctly. That's half the battle with mech is getting the right unit composition. So
We'll see. He's not dropping down. Oh, he did get one extra starport here. I don't know if he thinks he needs more or not.
I think he needs more. I think he needs at least
Mhm.
like three, two with probably reactors, one with
He
a
does
tech lab
drop
to
in that.
get ravens.
Yeah, he's going to be pumping out these Vikings pretty soon here. He needs to get started on that very shortly. But here comes the minimum rage expansion train now. He's trying to get up to 4 bases as well. He's very good about making sure he's consistently building bases and not falling behind on that aspect of it. So what needs to come out of Burn is to keep up with that from minimum rage, because once he sees he's on a 4th base, he's going to need to kind of take a lead in bases again, so that he can remain in the lead here.
Yeah,
This is going to
minimum
shape up to be
rage.
a really interesting game.
Yeah, minimum rage has just scanned Burns fourth as well and sees it. I'm not sure if he clicked on the gas guys to see how long it's been going here, but he is at least aware of it now
Hmm.
that Burn is on 4 bases and can afford those 4 Stargates building carriers.
Well, the Vikings are on the way for minimum rage. He's got 3 now, and he's going to hopefully continue to churn them out. Sitting right on top of an observer here, which is a little bit unfortunate for him. But
Mm.
meanwhile, we still have 3 carriers coming out at a time for Burn, and he's building up quite the fleet here. So it's gonna when the time for battle comes, it's gonna be craziness.
Lots of scans coming down, try and pick up the army. I like that. Like as a mech player, when you're playing against Protoss, you want to continually scan the army because like mech is strong. Like it, and obviously against Protoss, there's people that say it's not that good against Protoss. But if you can counter the Protoss army perfectly, it is
Mhm.
very very strong.
Yeah, and these Widow Mines are going to be pretty good against Protoss no matter what. Seeing
Mm,
as how they have a bonus against those
that
shields.
bonus
So
damage, yeah.
yeah, it's quite a thing to see when you see like 17 zealots get blown up by 4 Widow Mines. But
So funny.
we're not going to be seeing zealots getting blown up this game. I'm not sure what's
No,
going to happen actually when these carriers go over that.
it's going
Definitely not going to be
mothership.
good for them.
I'm not sure
Wow.
motherships are good. Like mothership's good, but the Terran A has scans, B has Vikings, and they can like it
Hmm.
might allow the carriers to get a few quick shots off. But I don't know. I love the input of a mothership
It's
into
not
this.
going to
They're
play
almost
too. Yeah, like
yeah.
there's even missile turrets going down on the edges here. Now the 4th base and the 3rd base don't have missile turret coverage, so if you were to sneak around there and get something done, maybe that could happen. By the way, there's a medevac with 3 Widow Mines in it over here by the
Up on the
fourth
top.
base,
Mm,
just chilling out, waiting for the perfect opportunity.
yeah. He scanned his army to try and get rid of the Reserver, but the Reserver's a little bit back. I like his
Yeah.
Viking count. He's really pumping those out, which he needs.
Hmm.
This is the first part, but he needs to have good control with the Vikings. So he needs to focus the carriers and not the interceptors. It really comes down to a microfight, which is why I like carriers as a response, just because it generally allows the better player to win, not just the player that built an army that can't be killed as such. It makes it an
Right.
even fight.
Couple Widow
Wouldn't
Mines
mind.
being dropped. Yeah, the 3rd one going down. It's actually going to burrow, and there's no observer here, so a couple probes I think getting taken out there. Uh, well, total of 7 killed, but I don't think that happened just right there.
It's a little bit sloppy actually, because he knows that he's gone Widow Mines. He probably should have probably built a blind cannon in each base,
Hmm.
and Widow
Yeah.
Mine another one goes off. He's cleaned up the gas mining up at this fourth, which is good for him.
Yep. Actually, that's probably where the other worker kills came from. The kills on the gas here. So nicely done by Minimum Rage, keeping himself in the lead here. He's actually got a full supply lead, and he's fully maxed out with 74 workers. So I'd like to see him pull a few of those workers and add them to the army here, so that he can then remax after
Mm.
they die. But
It's
we'll have to
still, I'm
see.
not sure. Like it's a big army, but I'm not sure it's an army that can kill the Protoss. The amount of carriers there are. Like if the Widow Mines don't kill the carriers all at once, then there's only a few Vikings left over. Like I think he really needs to almost turret push hilariously.
Well, here comes the push here. I just saw Burn select his whole army and get it all together here. He's got 5 observers with his army. A couple Vikings moving out to quickly die, but they do get the scout off here. All these Widow Mines are hiding. Oh my god. He killed like almost all the interceptors, but he actually killed almost all of his own Vikings with them as well. But luckily following up with a few more Vikings here, this is going to be nuts.
There's no more observers though.
These
There's
tanks
no
are pretty
observers.
useless. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
This
Carriers.
is insane.
So good. And the mothership is going down now. It didn't really help. His Widow Mines are about to reset though. He really needs to get out of dodge.
He's just sitting right on top of them.
These Widow Mines. Oh no, please move, please move. I don't want to see all these carriers start at Widow Mines.
Ah, I totally would have loved to see that.
It would have been great. It would have sucked for the Protoss, but it would have been very entertaining to watch.
He's actually going to move
problem.
these. He's going to try to get these Widow Mines underneath, but they're going to take a lot of carrier shots here from the interceptors. Couple going off here, not too exciting so far. Vikings streamed in. No, all those Vikings died really fast here. It's all up to these Widow Mines, and I don't think they're going to have the power to do it here. And actually, Minimum Rage really doesn't have that much left to follow this up. This is so many carriers.
That's the problem with Mech. It takes so long to remax the army.
Definitely, and he's trying to get as many Vikings and Ravens and Widow Mines out as he can, but
carriers just flying over the mines, don't even care anymore.
So close.
Takes so long
like
to kill
10
him.
seconds later.
What are the upgrades on the air? He's got 2-2 on his air.
Yeah, he's been. He definitely made the right choice as soon as he confirmed what Minimum Rage was doing. That quick double expansion into 4 bases and then 3 starport or 3 Stargates, sorry, into these carriers seems to be the correct answer.
Yeah, it needs to get an observer so he can kill the mines, which would be nice, but I guess that doesn't really matter. I just don't think these Widow Mines can kill. Like, they're going to kill interceptors, which is good. And the Protoss is kind of broke at the moment because he has to keep rebuilding the interceptors, but
yeah, but
killing these carriers.
He can't get underneath them fast enough. Taking out all the bases of Minimum Rage as well, and all Minimum Rage really has is a couple a handful of Widow Mines. He's trying to get a nice little set of units back at his natural here, but he's got no workers mining from the natural. The 3rd is gone, the 4th is gone, the 5th was gone as well. So he's like his income is 360 to 400 minerals per minute. So really not what he needs.
I love Burns' like income. He's going at 1400 minerals per minute, but I haven't seen his minerals get over 100 for a long time, just because the interceptors keep rebuilding. They keep dying to these Widow Mines.
Why not though? It's an effective way to spend your money, right? These Widow Mines, the only thing they can really do is scoot underneath these carriers while there's no interceptors. But right here, so many Widow Mines going to die here. He's not even burrowing them.
So many interceptors.
Oh man, just not looking too good for Minimum Rage here. As Burn has got the fleet, and he can pretty much do whatever he wants at this point. If he wanted to get another base up or continue to make probes, because his probe count is relatively low for this point of the game, and trying to sustain, max carriers. But he's actually getting that observer now and a couple more carriers, and I think that it's going to be pretty tough for Minimum Rage to come back into this one.
Yeah, it's so hard for him to rebuild that army. And I think this is the problem with the Widow Mines. They only shoot once, and then they have a cooldown. Like, it's not a continuous fire. Like, it's good. It's good as a gimmicky build. Like, but if Burn prepared, which it appears he has been well prepared for this game.
Yeah, totally.
It's very difficult for him to win.
Yep, this SCV trying futilely to get that missile turret.
Can't lose these observers.
Oh my god, you see that?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Killed all the interceptors. Killed
and all his own
Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah. It's just so random. It's such a risky way to play.
Well, the thing is, like, when your opponent doesn't hard counter you right away, that this play has been proven to work, but like we've already said, Burn was extremely well prepared for this, and that's kind of it's one of the cons in being I don't want to say it's a gimmicky player, but I suppose it does kind of fall underneath that category. When you do the same thing every week, it's really easy to scout, and then you can't really be mad when the other guy just totally destroys you because he countered you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening here. I mean, I don't know what Minimum Rage can do to come back into this.
He's on top of the production. That's really kind of it for Mech. Once you kill the production, it's hard enough rebuilding your army, but then to rebuild all your infrastructure as well.
Yeah.
It takes way too long, way too much gas. And he's got lots of gas banked up, but He's really just not lining enough at the moment. Oh, those Widowmine shots on the interceptors are very entertaining though.
They are, but they just get remade so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
this
average
is
unspent resources at the end of the game would look pretty good, I think. Just because he's
yeah,
continually spending all his money so quickly.
yeah, for sure. He's got a huge gas bank as well, though. But
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter at this point. It's just a matter of time before the
Yeah.
GG comes down. But again, as we said before, knowing the importance of this game, Minimum Rage is going to try to do whatever he can
He might try and hang in there because the nature of Widowmines, he might get a few off, as he says. GG. He might have got a few off and killed all the carriers, and then he'd be in an excellent position. But GG called.
Yep. That was fun, though. I mean, that's so now to all of Minimum Rage's past opponents who were wondering, like, how the hell do I deal with that? That's pretty much how you do it. So
carries are the answer. I'm telling you, carries against Mech are very strong.
yeah, well, I never really
please
seen
don't
it
go
in
carries
action.
against me.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so we all know how to beat the famous Minimum Rage there, and that's a little bit unfortunate for Team All Inspiration because that's the second win now for Team Confederation. That's going to bring the score up to 3-2, I believe, right?
Yeah, 3-2. We got a PvP next as well, and PvP is coin flippy as hell. Who knows what's going to happen? I really, really hope we get to the ace match with it tied up for all. That game would be so very epic.
Yeah.
Especially both players are so very good as well. Like Lando, super good Terran. Siren is a super good Protoss.
Yeah, well, I've seen Siren in week 7 we played against them, and there's a lot of walkovers that week. But Siren TT was one guy who showed up and was able to push Stark back, so he took a win off of Stark, and that was really well played. So we're going to see PvP here, as you said, and we should just jump into that one right now because it's going to be on Akalon Waste, featuring a couple good players here. So looking forward to getting into this one.
And the Operator.
Yep.
Both pretty. Well, Giggle Smoke is a pretty regular player for Confederation. Plays most weeks so far.
The Operator didn't play too much this season, but having done a race switch in the middle of the season, I can totally understand that. Used to play Terran. He was pretty good at Terran, and then decided to go back to his old Protoss roots. So we'll see. Last week he had a really good game against a Zerg player. We'll see how good his PvP is. And while I'm talking about him, let's go ahead and introduce him in the bottom right corner of Akalon Waste. The red Protoss player spawning for Team All In. It's going to be the Operator.
And for Confederation, his team down by only one map now, trying to tie it up. The Protoss player in the green, it is Giggle Smoke. I like that name.
Game. Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
That's a good name, Giggle Smoke. I've actually noticed that, like the games I've casted, there's been a lot of really clever names.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, actually. And not really coming out of my team. It's more coming out of the opposing teams. We keep finding all these really funny names, and Giggle Smirk is definitely one of them. And he's finding himself in a really important game here. Just could tie up the week, and that's going to be pretty epic. So in a PvP, like you said, which is pretty coin flippy, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Both players probe scouting. They both see each other probe scout as well, which is nice. I like that both of them scouting, and I like that they scout. There's really, you're kind of asking to have a bad time if you don't scout in these games because of the nature of best of one, and both teams preparing pretty heavily to play the person. Like you really need to scout and be on top of the game. So I'd feel so bad if I lost to something silly like a proxy gate just because I didn't scout.
Yeah.
I'd really be kicking myself, letting your team down because it's that simple thing.
Yeah, and if the game comes down by just a one game. I lost my game in the quarterfinals, and I felt absolutely terrible about it to the point where like I just didn't even want to play anymore during the playoffs because the pressure's. I'd rather cast, thank you. I don't really want to.
The pressure is real.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the finals where the pressure is going to be about as big as it's going to get here. So, like you said, scouting incredibly important, and both players doing a good job of it. Especially OP, actually, Operator, still in the base here. Or actually, no, sorry, that's Giggle Smirk. He's still in Operator's base, so getting a good scout off.
Giggle Smirk's even following Operator's probe across the map, his original scouting probe, just to make sure he's not gone off anywhere to drop any sneaky pylons or anything like that. Really staying on top of it.
We do have a double gas going down here for Giggle Smirk, and that indicates to me at least some sort of tech-heavy play. I usually like to go with the Stargate, so that's what I'm guessing right now.
Guessing Stargate. Operator's
Yeah,
Cybercore is actually quite a bit behind Google Smokes.
it is really late, and I wonder if it
Yeah.
has to do with all this microing to get rid of this scout here.
Yeah.
In PvP, that's going to be huge here because it's all about being as crisp as possible and getting that building down right when the Stargate or right when the Cybercore is done, and that's what we are seeing a Stargate out of Gigglesmirk.
Yeah, especially like even in just like mirror matches in general, like your timing of your builds is so critical because like you both players have the same tools to work with,
Yeah,
and so it's not like your race can give you an advantage over the other race. Like it's all about your skill and your choice of building placement and building timing and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
It's
for
really
sure.
it's why I like mirror matches as well. So
It's a good skill check because it's like,
mhm.
okay, like, I can beat Terran because I know that, my roach push works really well against them. But in a ZVZ or in a PvP, when they have the same tools I have, like,
Yeah,
you're playing on the same playing ground here. This
yeah.
Mothership Core finally going to push away this scout from Gigglesmirk, so nicely done there. And he's following it up with a Twilight Council, and I don't think Gigglesmirk got the scout off on that.
No,
Nope.
oh yeah, I don't think Google Smoke sorry, but the operator is fully aware of the Stargate out of Google Smoke, so he should be getting stalkers and probably positioning the stalkers in the mineral lines nice and safe. I hope, because he knows that there's a Stargate coming.
At the very least, he
Doesn't
can drop down a photon overcharge to get rid of that oracle, but he needs to act fast on that one. So,
still doesn't quite have it. I think you should just have it when it gets here.
oh right, yeah, it's
It
100 for some reason.
needs another 4 energy, but he's going blink, which is generally a pretty good reaction to Stargate. It's kind of how PvP goes. Twilight versus Stargate.
Yeah, and his stalkers are
Usually.
not in position here, so this
No.
oracle zooming in here. It's going to be able to get a couple probe kills at least. The reaction time has to be super fast here to get minimal losses.
3, 4, 5.
Pretty well done.
Probably, yeah,
And if he picks
5.
off,
4. Doesn't
oh,
want to lose that Oracle.
yeah,
There it
that oracle
goes.
gets away and baits a photon overcharge as well. So, I mean, 5 kills is about what you would expect from an oracle opening. So not too bad for either player here. But Gigglesmirk has a pretty commanding worker lead now, and
Yeah.
supply lead as well. So
He's getting Phoenix, which I like, getting a couple of Phoenix, but getting him his immortal first immortal's halfway done, which is going to be super helpful against this blink attack. If he can get one, probably two immortals out by the time this hits, this 3 gate blink. Even the
yeah,
Phoenix are going to be pretty helpful just to like not to fight, but probably just to lift the stalkers out, just to take a bit of um, that
I,
army number down. Like, yeah,
yeah, for sure. The
it's,
crowd control really good on the Phoenix. I'm really happy that Operator's coming back. He's just
mm,
chilling out in his natural. Looks like he might want to get an expansion up at some point, but this Oracle is still around here, and there's nothing to defend against it. So it's going to actually fly back in here.
yeah. He can't really move out until he gets like
Oh my
10-ish
god. So,
stalkers, so he can afford to leave 3 at home. But this Oracle, I think, might die now. Yeah, but he's done the work. He's killed a lot of probes, 11
def-
total.
he's definitely paid for himself there. That's a lot of workers killed here, and especially, again, in a mirror matchup, the worker count means a lot more because, again, you're on the same playing field. So Gigglesmirk finding himself with a much better economy here, and Operator's going to need to get some damage done with these Blink Stalkers or try to get an expansion and defend it for a few minutes in order to catch back up in this game.
Yeah, but Gigasmoke has 2 immortals. The third one is slowly on the way once he gets past this little supply block that he has. He's got
And
Phoenix moving out here as well.
yeah, and these Phoenix, like you said, are going to be really good in the form of crowd control, picking off that mothership core as well, and
Mm.
also just scouting. I mean, having Phoenix just hovering around all the time, he can harass the probe line with them too. So, very versatile units. This Operator Zealot just chilling in the base without being
It's just
harassed at
like
all.
not entirely sure how he got over there. What am I doing here?
Yeah,
Just kind of all by himself, poor fella.
he did see the 2 immortals though, so he knows that his stalkers are going to be pretty hard pressed here. Phoenix is coming in to target down this mothership core.
Oh, they might
Does
get
get
it.
the Yeah, but he does get the photon overcharge off, which actually isn't going to do any permanent damage at all. But at least it forced the Phoenix back, and Gigglesmirk has taken a pretty commanding hold of this game so
Yeah.
far.
He's in a pretty good lead. Like the operator would have loved to have that Mothership Core over on the map to with this blink attack
Yeah.
because it's like it's vision and it's like time warp is super strong in PvP because it slows down everything for ages. And getting that Mothership Core with the Phoenix is pretty good, and it really forces the operator to stay at home, even though his entire instinct is to go across the map to try and get damage done to catch back up.
Yeah, and these Phoenix are sticking around being so annoying, and Kigglesmirk is in a position where he can actually expand soon because he's.
Yeah.
I like how he's continually building probes. Well, as I say that, he's stopped now. Build another probe, but he's oversaturated for sure. So it's about time to go take an expansion, and he has the Immortals to defend it. Phoenix coming through once again, not really getting too much done that time though.
He's up to 4 Immortals, and the operator's getting Templar Archive, which I assume is probably going to be for Archons. But like he's going across the map now. And the Phoenix, I think they spot this moving out. Yeah, they will spot it now moving out, which is nice.
Yeah, and
if they,
operator.
they can lift and get those sentries, that's going to be gross.
I don't know if they would kill him in time though with all the blink stalkers here. He's actually just going to take him back.
Yeah, take him back and just like lift up stalkers just so he's got less DPS. But these Immortals, he's got 4 Immortals. That's just way too many.
Yeah, but you can't really fault Operator for trying to get an attack in here because he's so far behind now. He needs to do
forced
this.
into it. That's the problem.
Yeah, these sentries are lagging a little bit behind. Photon overcharge going down just to make matters worse. One stalker, that one guy wasn't able to blink. That was really close, but not able to blink away. Operator's going to pull back, and I'm waiting on him to drop this expansion here. He doesn't really have the money for it. It's going to be risky either way, but I think that's the only thing he can do right now.
Yeah, I agree. He's in between a rock and a hard place a little bit. He's got.
Well, that's what happens when you lose.
He's down in tech. He's down in probes. He's got this. He's getting an Archon, which is nice. Like Archons are really good, but just he's so far down in his immortal count.
Yeah.
Gigglesmirk's in the driving seat.
That's why I think that if Operator dropped down an expansion, not too long ago, then he would be able to start getting it up, getting up and running, getting an income going over there, and then the longer, like, even if Gigglesmirk scouts it with these Phoenix, he still has a couple minutes before the rest of the army makes it across the map. But instead, it's going to be Gigglesmirk who drops down the expansion first and just securing the lead even more. And of course, Operator following it up with his own expansion.
These Phoenix is getting a little trapped, but they'll get out so fast.
Yeah, and I love Gigglesmirk's Phoenix play so far, really keeping Operator on the back foot, forcing him to stay home, and allowing him to do whatever he wants back at home, which is get a crazy amount of Immortals out. And he's actually going into Twilight Council himself. I think for upgrades.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably for +2. I don't think he'll go Blink. Probably Charge as well.
Yeah, Charge would be pretty good. Yeah, especially against Blink Stalkers. Would be pretty helpful. And we'll have to see. Operator going for that robotics facility now, but it's probably about 10 minutes later than it really should have been.
Yeah, I don't see him being able to hold this attack. It's like Gigglesmirk's got Immortals. He's got Phoenix to lift the sentries and the stalkers, or kill the Mothership Core. He's got enough energy to time warp and either retreat or throw down a second time warp. He's got a big army supply lead. I think he might be tying this up for Confederation.
Here it comes.
He lifts the sentries.
Yeah, nice micro there, picking up the sentries, even picking up a zealot there, struggling in the air. It's a funny animation. These Immortals are going to tear down this Nexus, and there's a GG. Yeah,
good game. Very good game from Gigglesmirk.
Yeah, that was a little bit one-sided there, but really well done. Nice build order, very nice and crisp. That dog.
I think Operator could have reacted better to it. Like he saw the Stargate early enough. He just didn't really have his army in position, ready to go. Could have mitigated the damage a little bit more. Yeah. Gigglesmirk took his advantage and ran with it.
Yeah, for sure. And he just held the lead the entire time, and it was pretty much easy as soon as he got all those probe kills early on.
Tied up. It's exciting.
Yeah, that's insane. 3-3 now.
Getting tense. Woogie Stark, TVT.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be a huge matchup here to determine who is going to take a step forward towards the championship. So let's go ahead and jump in it. We'll be casting this game and then going into a break here. So excited for that. I need some water and I need to calm my dog down a little bit.
I can't tell if it's your dog or TB Ham's dog in my
No,
ears. Like, he's
this
going
time
crazy.
it's mine.
That's what I like about my dog. Like I got a Labrador. He's just so passive and lazy. And he just he
Lab,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
funny.
yeah, as soon as anybody walks by the apartment door, the dog flips out. So it's been pretty good lately. But of course, it's finals night. I'm trying to do my best job possible, and that's the night that she's going to freak out and make a lot of noise.
That's funny.
All right, we're on Zelnaga Caverns. We have a TVT, and I'll go ahead and introduce the Blue Terran for Team Confederation. It's going to be Woogie. Is it Woogie or Woogie?
I think it's Woogie.
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 Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Woogie. That's what I'm going with. And spawning in the top right hand side, the Terran player from England, also the caster extraordinaire. It is All Inspirations Stark. He was casting earlier this evening. If you were watching the
Yep,
third place match, the
doing a great
emergency
job with
cast.
TV Ham.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Stark, really. If you got to describe Stark with one word, it would be helpful or always
Helpful.
around, which is like two
He
words.
seems
But
he does seem like that guy. He seems like the guy who's just always in your chat who knows heaps about stuff that can just tell you any answer about any race, about
and
the
not
game.
only that, but also, oh, you have questions about holding off oracles? Here, let me throw oracles at you for an hour. And he like absolutely willing to help anybody. He's basically the main coach for Team All Inspiration in terms of practice games and going over replays and helping you out there. So it's worth noting Stark's been a baller for Team All Inspiration and really helpful. Unfortunately, as has kind of been the case during these games, I don't really know too much about Woogie. For all I know, Woogie, he could be the exact same as Stark. So I'm sure he's a baller in his own right.
We're getting some Reaper cheese out of Stark, channeling Canary.
Oh man,
I've played against Canary. I don't like it at all. It's
Canary.
kind of destroyed me 2-0 with Reapers. So I wonder if Stark's been practicing that with Canary. As Reapers are very good on this map.
That is definitely probably true. Canary and Stark are kind of like boys on the team. They definitely hang out together a lot and practice their cheeses, and they're really good at it. So we're going to see exactly how these Reapers turn out here. And the thing is, though, same thing. Well, not quite the same as, like, let's say with Minimum Rage. Stark has shown cheese in the past in the CTL. So Woogie may have scouted that out of him, but he also mixes in standard play. So going to get that SCV building the factory to delay that a little bit. And hopefully get this Reaper out of there without taking too much damage. He's pulling all the SCVs off the line, or almost all of them.
He needs to get this factory up. This factory is the key to this. If Woogie can get factory in Hellions, then this cheese is kind of over. But if Stark can deny this factory as long as possible, he can get enough Reapers to kind of snowball this into a victory. It'll completely come down to this factory, I think.
Well, if Stark can get that. If you can get that bunker up, which he's trying to do here, and that'll help against the Hellions. And it looks like that is so many SCVs pulled off the line here, and he's killing many of them.
It's all well and good getting a factory, but if you don't have the income to support building Hellions, then it's not going to go well.
2 more Reapers on the way to follow this up. That SCV is going to have some trouble getting that bunker up. That's really important to get that bunker up. I don't think it's going to happen here. It gets picked off. And
3 Reapers now, so 2 Marines and a Hellion. I really like Woogie's position here. 4, actually. Needed to get that Hellion healed up from the SCVs.
Oh, trying to micro his heart out is Stark. He's going to be able to push back that Hellion for now. He is getting it repaired, which is really smart. And a second one on the way out. Those other 2
lining up.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know if this... I lost another one there.
Yeah. He's got Woogie still has a worker lead. He hasn't lost. He's still got a 2 worker lead, and he's building SCVs, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah,
he's is healing up this Hellion. Second Hellion's almost out now.
And I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think Woogie's held this. Well done. Stark might try and keep building Reapers for another kind of last-ditch attempt. But I think Woogie's got all the tools he needs to defend this now. He's in a good position, a very strong position.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a starport up. He's continuing to build SCVs where Stark is doing that. Actually, he hasn't built anything. Oh, wait, no, here we go. Yeah, SCV on its way out. It was the Orbital Command was building, I think, that stopped him from doing that. But trying to macro out of this, but it's going to be so hard.
He's not in the best position to macro out of this. And Reapers can get utility. If he can I actually really like Woogie's building placement. Kind of think he's going to force the Reapers into a bad spot. They try and take this head-on fight against Hellions, which is not going to work well.
No, a couple of them going down, and that's the
I think
thing.
the Hellions
If he
can
was able,
chase now.
yep, and he lost another Hellion going down over here, so he only has 2 left, and that's really like you can't lose Hellions with this type of opening. You have to be able to pick off a unit and escape. Pick off a unit and escape. The more Hellions you lose, that you're basically sealing your fate here.
More Reapers, you mean? I assume you're saying. Oh. Building a factory and a barracks back at home. I think we've lost.
Yeah, I'm
I
here.
think we lost. Oh, okay.
There might have been a little disconnection there for a second with Skype, but everything up and running.
Difficulties. Woogie has this medevac. He has 4 Hellions and some Marines, so you can go across the map now and do some economical damage, even though he's already ahead on SCVs.
Yeah, he's getting that scan off now. He sees the factory just finishing and the starport just going down. He knows.
Make him feel super confident, I think.
Yeah, exactly. He knows what's going on, and that's exactly when he's going to go ahead and move across. If he can pick up extra Reapers at the same time, that's just bonus. These Reapers are going to try to get something done here in the main of Woogie. Well, Woogie's army is out. The Viking lands.
The Viking.
Actually... Oh, that kiting by
Reapers.
that Reaper is pretty good.
It's so good.
I think we should be watching the damage that Woogie's about to do to Stark here, though. Those Reapers. Oh,
He needs to get those Hellions up in the main.
He's using the vision for
them. Yeah.
Yeah, this actually is being held pretty nicely by Stark, to be honest.
Here come the Hellions, though. That's where the damage is going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
He
Bunker
has
is
his bunker. Yeah, we can just move and kill the SCVs now. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Stark here, as Woogie definitely knew how to react to this Reaper opening. The Reapers back in Woogie's base have been pushed away by that Viking, and all the SCVs going down for Stark now. Those Hellions getting
lots of red ones as well. Only a few more shots and it's going to really snowball.
Oh, yeah.
Well held by Woogie. He's got a massive lead now. Only 7 workers for Stark. Excuse me. Throat is dying. Woogie taking his command center, and really he can just sit back and defend. I think he's got a massive lead now. He can build any non-zero amount of units to win, I think. It's a long way back for Stark. I don't think Stark will leave, though, because these games are super important, and he doesn't really want to give up.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing against going for this type of cheese play, especially like knowing Stark personally. I know he practices this opening quite a bit. As these Hellions are swooping in here, getting more SCV kills. But it was just more of a fact of Woogie just really knowing what to do to defend it, and microed his heart out and was able to survive until he got the Hellions. And that's all it really took. Is just when things actually looked kind of bad for him for a minute or two while Stark was killing all these SCVs. But all you got to do is just be patient and get those Hellions out. And now he's got a tank sieged up outside of the main on Zelnaga Cavern's really obnoxious spot here. And Stark, I mean, what can you do?
Not much, unfortunately.
No.
Not much. He's getting Cloak Banshees to try and salvage something, but I mean, Woogie doesn't have any scans at the moment. He does have a Viking though. The Banshee is out, so
Stark has to be really careful with that Banshee until Cloak comes out.
There's 2 Vikings here. I would hope Woogie's just banking up scans. He's getting a Raven as well, so don't think this Banshee's going to bring him back. But I can't blame him for trying. A couple of idle SCVs there from the middle of nowhere from Woogie as well. It's kind of funny. There's 3 tanks here.
Yeah, and he's just going to siege up again.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
sacrificing this. Yeah.
Yeah, nice job there. I actually like that. He wasted the scan on the Widow Mine, which maybe wasn't that technically effective of a play, but the Raven is on the way, so he won't need it soon enough.
Halfway across. Oh, that's another tank.
Where's
Banshee going to do some work. I don't think it can kill stuff fast enough, though. Oh, there's another scan. Needs to focus that Banshee.
Oh, that Banshee goes down.
That will be GG. GG. Well held from Woogie. Well held. Very impressive. It was
And
very
this,
dicey for a second there because this is that the build. It just comes down to that factory time. Like if he can get the factory, if Stark can stop the factory from building, then the Reapers are just gonna have a field day.
yeah, for sure. And wow, what a comeback here by Confederation. All in takes the first three games, but then Confederation wins four in a row to take a 4-3 lead on the series. We only have two sets left to cast. One of them set eight, and then the final one's going to be the ace match. So if All In actually wins the next match, oh man, we're in for an epic series for sure. I really hope that's the case.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting as hell. But why don't we go ahead and take that break we were talking about earlier? Get some water and just kind of calm our throats for a couple minutes anyway while we get ready for the next couple games, and we'll be back to you very shortly. All right, we're back. Thanks very much for being patient, guys, while we took a break and just sort of discussed some things. I actually am just learning now for the first time that set number 8 is actually a walkover in favor of Team All Inspiration. So,
He screwed up the overlay. It's nice.
okay.
Yeah, that's funny. It is
We're,
J-Ro that did get the walkover, so it is
yeah.
tied up 4-all. And
Yeah,
that
which is
is
insane. I mean, that means that this ace match that we're going to be casting right now is going to it's going to decide who wins the championship. So you can't really get much more hype than that. It would have been cool if we actually had a set 8 to cast and if J-Ro would have maybe won to make that happen, but the world can't be
either way.
perfect, I guess.
We're
We still
here.
Yep. We're here. We're on time and we're going to cast a TVP between two of the best probably two of the best diamond players in
Yeah.
all of
Uh,
CTL.